Oh, hello everyone. I'm very sorry. I apologize for the mistake I've made with the time because it's meant to be at 7:30 and then I realized I've set it up at 7:05, so my bad. Anyway, how are you everybody? I'm back for another exciting live podcast on Teach New Zealand Teach NZ Talk after a 2 week break and kind of miss you all, but I'm happy that I had a break as well. My time off was because of some other stuff I had to do. I've had a commitment that I can't move because that wasn't my event anyway. I was just invited to. And also, last week I was a bit unwell. And yeah, I have to give myself a bit of rest. If I'm well and good, I'll definitely do more work. But that time, my body just screamed for rest. And so I did. We got to look after ourselves, right? That's what my colleague would always tell me. So I was away for 3 days last week. I forced myself to went back to school, but then I was still not feeling well. I was coughing and sore throat is still there. So I was away for another 2 week in the later part of the week. Oh, not 2 week, 2 days, I mean. Okay, right. Good to see you again. And there will be more coming up. But for now, let's just enjoy this night together. This will be a quick one. And I'm just waiting for our guest to join us. It's going to be a special one, my former colleague at Viscount School. And hey, hang on. If you're watching right now, wherever you are in the country, New Zealand, Philippines, or any part of the world, let me know if you want to engage with us. If you have questions right now while I'm waiting for the guest, my former colleague, let me know and I'll try to answer those questions if you have any. If you just want to get a shout out or just greet me probably or say anything that you would like to say to teachers here in New Zealand, Filipino teachers here in New Zealand, or any inspirational quotes that you have to inspire others as well, because this is for everyone. This is not just my show. This is the inspirational page for everybody. I would like to hear from you. Let me know in the comment section. I know quite a few of you have already been waiting for another, I don't want to say session, but podcast. I don't also want to say the show. It's just like, oh, maybe let's just call it a session between me and you. And it's quite scary, and I'm just by myself. If I'm with Marianne, just like what I had yesterday, it's kind of cool because I'm literally talking to someone. But with you guys, I will only be feeling a little bit okay when you engage with me. So yeah, thank you so much, Mayung Gabi, Lani. Thank you for having a time to sit down and maybe just watch me on and engage with me while you're doing something else. If you have any question, Lani is actually an ECE teacher here in New Zealand now in South Island. So she also comes from Iloilo. Haniway ba? Lan? Taga Haniway ka? Or, ooh, I forgot, sorry. But hopefully one day you'll be able to come to Auckland, visit me here, or maybe I'll come visit you. Kung may pera lang, sana all. Lambunaw! Lambunaw, Iloilo, Philippines. Ayan, taga Lambunaw dira, mga kasimanwa namon sa Iloilo, kataga Dingle, Putotan ako. Dingle, technically, pero nakapamana sa Putotan. So, yeah. But my ancestors are actually from Digas, Davao del Sur. I was born there. All my relatives are from Davao, Cebu at Davao. Kami lang ang na-separate sa Iloilo. Nagdako na ako sa Iloilo, naka-eskwela. And yeah, rest is history. I'm now in New Zealand. Hello po, ma'am. Somebody from the Facebook page. a Facebook group page. So your name is not showing out here. Let me see if I can find you on Facebook so I can mention your name if you don't mind. Let me have a look. No, it's not. Okay. And what are we going to talk about? Of course, something that will inspire you, something that will give you insights, because don't lose hope. I know that there will be many teachers around the world are thinking of coming to New Zealand, not just Filipinos. And doesn't mean that we're the last in the queue just because we're Filipinos. No, we've got to be proud of our culture, of where we come from. We actually work hard in the Philippines to get the education, right? We strive for the best. But I would say a lot of us as well have the skills and have the patience. So those are the things that, like, it's our edge as Filipino teachers. So don't lose hope. Keep working it out. Keep learning and do something to achieve your goal. That's from Leo Gina Marie Galos Delio. How are you? Saan po kayo? Saan po kayo dito sa New Zealand or still in the Philippines? Let me know. Baka kababayan tayo doon from Davao or Iloilo. Okay. So our special guest, she's let me check out. Wants to install Chrome, so opening my laptop now. Okay, she's getting there. It's her first time to join me on live podcast, and it's gonna be her first time using this app that we are using normally with the other live podcasts or webinars that I'm having. It's week 6 already, and we're having week 11 this term. Usually we have week 10 weeks for each term, but for this term it's quite long because of the many holidays. So we have the Auckland holiday, Waitangi, and the upcoming Easter holiday. So that's quite a few. And yeah, it's halfway through. We're so excited to finish the term because I'm already tired. I already got sick last week. And if you've been following my page, you probably got an update on what's been going on and what are my experiences here in New Zealand, to give you an idea, to give you a little bit of picture as to what life is in as a teacher here in New Zealand. Doesn't mean that you're going to experience it too, but who knows? It could be lighter in your case, or it could be worse. Hopefully not. But if you're aware, then you can be more prepared. Did I say it right? Good evening there, Mom Juve. Another fun-filled talk with you. Third time of attending your stream. Thank you so much. And I really hope you're learning something from it. And I really need your feedback. I wish to answer all the questions that have been asked of me in the past through messages and just in many forms: YouTube, WhatsApp, and Facebook page, my Facebook page. And yeah, sometimes I just couldn't manage everything, so I tried to have this live stream so that we will try our best to answer your questions, especially with someone who have experience in teaching here in New Zealand. All right, we've got our guest now joining me already. That's just enough of me. I'm going to introduce to you our special guest joining me today. Let me just shuffle this a bit so I can move my screen. She's gonna share her experiences, of course, and thoughts about teaching in different countries, because she's been to many countries, not just New Zealand, not just America. She's gonna tell you more where she had taught. I know she's gonna be correcting my grammar as well, because she's good at English. She's an English teacher. And now she's been teaching here in New Zealand. She's gonna correct me if I'm wrong. 6 years, I reckon. 6 years. She started out as a teacher in South Africa. Again, I'm trying to recall our conversations in the past, but she's going to correct me as soon as she pops up here on the screen. And she moved here, and I reckon she's been enjoying her life as a teacher. But definitely it's not a perfect world. She has a lot of challenges as well, which she's going to share with us so that we can learn from her experience. And she's not just a colleague. I would say she's been a real inspiration to me when I joined the year 5 6 team in 2020 at Viscount School. And you know how she has also impacted my life when we worked together, studying together. Actually, we did this cool course on digital and collaborative learning, and we were just so thankful it was during the pandemic that we're able to have time doing it. And having her around really improved my English skills, I would say, is because she's an expert on this area. She's really awesome. So let's give a big welcome to Miss Selena Bikram. Hi, Selena. How are you?
Hi, Juvie. Hi, everyone. Juvie is very, very flattering.
Oh, no, I'm just telling the truth, honestly.
Yeah.
And were
Um,
you having trouble entering the StreamYard, or were you just a little bit busy?
no, because it wouldn't let me do it on my phone, so
Oh,
I
yes. I forgot to tell
did
you.
that on my laptop. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, you're a techie person anyway. We did the course together, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mind Lab.
Okay, did I
Yeah,
get everything correct? You're from South Africa.
I'm from South Africa. Yeah, and I've been in New Zealand just about 6 years. July will be 6 years, and
Oh,
yeah, July
okay.
this year will be 6 years. So yeah,
And
and before this, yeah.
sorry, after South Africa, you taught in high school. You're a secondary English teacher.
Yeah, I'm English. I taught English most of my teaching career in South Africa and in the US. So and in England as well. Well,
Oh,
and in China. So I
sorry.
yeah, it's hard for me to keep track of myself sometimes. So I've been teaching a long time,
You don't
uh,
mind how many years?
36.
Wow, three,
Yeah,
almost
that's a
four
lifetime.
decades. So from South Africa, you moved to America?
Yeah. So from South Africa, I went to America for 3 years,
And you
and
did
then
your registration as well, eh?
hmm?
You did your registration in America as well?
I was working with an agency in America
Okay.
via an
But
agency. Yeah.
yeah, but I remember you told me that it wasn't easy for you to get the residency there. That's why you moved
Yeah.
to.
Well, I didn't really try to get residency because I was just with this agency, and then I was with another agency. So, in total, 12 years in the US.
Oh
Uh,
man.
yeah. So it was 3 years, and then I went to England, and then I
Ah,
went back to South Africa for 2 years, and then I went back to the US. So for
oh,
another 9 years. So yeah, I was in America for 9 years at a stretch from 2007 to 2016. And then I went to China for 2 years.
oh, for 2 years again.
Yeah, and then I worked at the it was international school. So it was a British based international school. So they followed the Cambridge curriculum.
In
And
China.
in China, but it was mostly Chinese students at
Mm,
this international school, the British International School. So we
it's-
shared a campus with the American international school. So there were two streams. So the parents could either enroll their kids in the British or the American system, depending on where they wanted their kids to go, because most of these kids were aiming to go to Harvard or to, you know,
Oh,
Cambridge,
so
Oxford,
a
Yale,
rich
etc. All the
school,
Ivy League schools. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
a rich
So
one.
very wealthy kids, very bright kids, because you had to pass the entrance exams and stuff to get accepted into school.
It must be easy to deal with them because they are so motivated.
Yeah, most of the kids were, and very, very competitive as well. Very competitive.
But you just
I
stayed
guess
for
that
two
comes
years.
from the Chinese system of education, where they have to fight for places to do whatever they're
Exactly.
doing. Yeah. So yeah, and then I came to New Zealand in 2018.
So
Uh,
that's from China. From China, you moved to New Zealand.
yeah, and mostly because you're only allowed to stay in China and work in China till you're 60. So before I reached 60, I wanted to come to New Zealand so they wouldn't,
Yeah.
because my sister's been here for 20
Mm,
something years.
yeah.
And, I didn't want to end up without a job in China.
Yeah, yeah. And you're closer to your family because you have your family
Yeah,
here that
yeah, absolutely.
close
Yeah.
to
So that was my main motivation was coming here to be with my family because my
how long
sisters
yeah, how long did you teach in Europe?
in the US or in the
I,
UK.
UK, sorry.
I only lasted a year, and I'm saying lasted a year because that was one of my worst teaching experiences.
Seriously? Why?
Being in England, I think that was the only place in my whole career where I encountered racism. Like
Ooh, that's
personally, yeah, I found the kids. Although it was like not an affluent neighborhood, but it was quite say middle class, like lower
mm,
middle class neighborhood.
yes.
They weren't poor or anything. They were, you know,
Yeah.
um, not rich, but they were very
Yeah.
average kind of
Yes, yes.
students. I mean, most of the parents had a job. But I think they didn't encounter too many people of color in that place. It was
That's
in Surrey in England, which is near where Wimbledon is. That
yeah.
might give a frame of reference. Yeah. Yeah, and it was very surprising to me. Very, very surprising because they would call me all kinds of names like Paki and so that,
Seriously. Oh,
yeah.
that's a terrible experience.
Yeah, it was horrible, and I mean, I wasn't the only one. So because others, there were 20 of us that went over from with this VIF program that I was with,
Mm,
and of the 20, I think about four people lasted. So
wow.
that was by far my worst teaching experience, and yeah, because the
Well,
kids were horrible. Usually you encounter problems with admin, and
mm.
uh, that's usually it's not never the kids, and it was like primary going into high school, so 11 to 16-year olds.
Oh
That
dear.
was by far the worst cultural experience I've had.
You give me goosebumps. So you were teaching high school students from South Africa, in America, in US, and in UK.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, right through high school. I did teach a little bit of middle school when I was in my first outing in the US. Not my specialty, though. My specialty has always been English literature and drama. So
mm.
that's what I was focused on in South Africa. That's what I taught. And that's what I taught for most of my time in the US and in
But
England.
when you came to New Zealand, you applied for a primary,
I
or did you?
applied for primary, yeah. Mostly because I taught primary when I went to China. I taught from primary school to high school.
Oh,
So, yeah. So my first year was only high school. And then my second year, I worked at the German school
that's in China.
in China. So it was a German education system, but I was teaching ESL. So I was teaching ESL from grade one, which is 6 year
Oh,
old,
wow. So you've
all
got
the way to high school. So in the mornings, I would teach the primary school, and the afternoons, I would teach high school. Cambridge, it was following the Cambridge system.
So was it
So
challenging for you because you're teaching? I haven't seen you taught little ones. I really thought it's
yeah, no, it was fun actually. I really enjoyed it. That's when I decided to switch to primary school.
ah,
Yeah.
right.
My
So
when I worked with those kids, and I said, you know what, I don't want to deal with, because high school kids, they've got the technology and all of that you're dealing with. So
and the mood swings as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, and the vaping, the smoking, all of that stuff that's happening here in
Oh,
New Zealand.
yeah, that's
Because
not new.
my sister's also a teacher here in New Zealand, and she's been at the same school for about 15 years, and she's in a higher decile school, like a
Yeah,
decile 10 school. She's
yeah.
been there and
In
they've
North.
never had discipline problems and stuff until like the past maybe 2 years, and it
Mhm.
has a lot to do with vaping and cell phone use, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's quite a big problem now, and I'm not sure if it's totally banned now. The phone is totally banned in New Zealand.
Well,
They say
that's what they're planning on implementing, right? But we're not sure.
still a plan,
Yeah.
but the
So they
vaping
haven't done it,
hasn't
they
been
haven't
banned
done
yet.
it yet, but it's in the pipeline.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully it's going to be done. Otherwise, we'll be losing good teachers, experienced teachers, because it's
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, what else would you like me to share with them very quickly?
oh,
Because
yeah. The behavior, the differences, because you've said it's your worst experience was in UK. So comparing the students in New Zealand, America, and
um,
probably
look,
now.
because I'm working with primary school kids, I can't say that there's really like a behavioral issue. I mean, you don't have those, you have those odd students, um, and it's few and far between where you have those issues.
Yeah.
Um, at the school that I'm presently at, Touchwood, we don't really. It's decile 8 or something,
Ah,
but
is it in Flatbush?
yeah, so we don't
Oh,
really have those kind of
be-
discipline issues. You know, yeah, we've got a lot of support. We've got a lot
oh,
of teacher
that's
aides and a lot of support for the students that have behavioral and other issues.
that's good to hear. But what
Yeah,
are the challenges now? Because you've mentioned last time that it's different
yeah.
from Viscount
The
School.
challenges are the way I'm working right now. It's an open plan system. So the school where I'm at the moment, they have an open plan. So there's four teachers that work with like 100 students,
Mm,
and that's not something I'm used to because you're
yeah,
used to having your own space and doing your own thing. So there are some schools that still follow that model, but I think it's rare.
mm,
Um, where you have those schools that are following that kind of plan. Uh, but it's like the primary school feeds into the intermediate, feeds into the high school, so we all side by side, and the students are used to that system.
mm.
My personal opinion is that it's not really good for primary school kids
Why?
because they can't really manage themselves.
They're still
They're
learning.
still learning how to manage themselves, and it's too much independence.
Oh, is that so?
I
Mm,
think it's giving them a bit too much personal choice and freedom. That's good to have that independence, but it's a bit too much.
yeah. And they still can't really choose what's the best for themselves,
Yes, exactly.
especially for little ones. So you are teaching what year level now?
Yeah, 5, 6.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
5, 6 again.
Mm,
And now
mm.
there's just two of you in one space. How
Yeah, so
many?
now this year they've created, for the first time, one habitat. We call them habitats,
Yeah.
uh, with two of us, and I'm finding
So,
that much nicer because
yeah, yeah.
there's two people and 50 students instead of 100. So you have an opportunity to get to know all the students.
But
Whereas
just
with 100 students, you
yeah,
do, a lot of them, they're there in the space, but you don't have too much interaction with them, and so you don't really get to know all the students.
yeah. And
It's too many to
it's
have
hard to
in.
build relationship with them,
It's
right?
hard to build relationships, but I'm finding now with 50 students, it's much easier to do that.
Yeah, yeah. And it's also very important that you work with someone that you can easily get along with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And also, we've distributed the work, but it's a lot more work. It's a
Oh,
lot more
really?
work because
Compared to by
because
yourself?
in well, with four people doing the work, you distribute the work 4 ways. So the planning, especially.
Oh, okay.
So one person plans maths, one person plans this, one person plans that. So you kind of rotate it.
Oh,
Whereas
okay.
here, two of us, so two of us are planning everything: the maths,
Yes.
the reading, the writing, and then you also scaffolding. So if
Yeah.
I'm doing the reading, I have to think about my lower students. I have to think about my MLL students. I have to think about my multilingual,
Yeah.
multilingual learners. I have to think about them. Then I have to plan for them. I have to plan for my like lower level students who can barely put a sentence together. So I have to scaffold for them. Then the next level and the next level and the next level. So you're doing all those different plannings
Yes, the way we
just
did
for
before.
reading, then just for maths, then just for writing. So it becomes, although they do have, there's very much like a hands-on kind of school. So we have I Explore, I Experience, where the students, it's all about making something and creating and
Yeah.
yeah.
So which one is easier, the single cell when you work at Lycott before, or the now with the two of you in a class?
The single cell is easier in the sense that you're only planning for yourself. You know what you're doing.
Okay. But
Uh,
two, uh,
but the advantages of having like more than one person is I do all the planning. I need to know exactly what it is I'm doing. I need to spell it out for somebody I'm not in the in case I'm not in the room. Someone should be able to come
mm,
into and look at my plan and know exactly what to do with the kids.
okay.
You know, whereas if you're in like a single cell and you're absent,
Yeah.
then whoever comes in, they
Would,
don't know exactly what it is you want to do,
and they
and
just come up with their own.
yeah, and very often that time is lost
Yeah. Yes, that's true.
because the I think the kids just say, oh, it's a free period because the teacher's not here. Whereas
Yeah.
here, at least once a week, I'm out of the classroom because my position at school is a literary designer and analyst as well.
Mm.
So I'm working with other teachers for one day in the week.
So you're like closer.
Analyzing data and planning materials and that kind of thing. So somebody else is in my class unable to follow the planning, so I have to be very specific and very detailed in the planning. And that's the other thing that takes up a lot of time.
So despite your 5 years experience, I think at Viscount, when you move to this new school, it's completely
It's like being
different.
in a different country. It's like being in a different country
Yeah,
altogether.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Although you have experiences here already, so yeah, that's some.
Yeah, and I mean, like with all my teaching experience, I still feel like I'm learning all over again. I mean, lifelong learner, right? They say, yeah. So
That's
you never stop learning, never stop learning, and yeah.
yeah. Thank you for that. And last questions. I think this is very important anyway because a lot of our viewers are comparing either they go to America or they have other opportunities in other countries. Let's talk about the pay. What are the differences? Which one would you prefer if you're single or if you're married? If you have family with you?
Um, Look, New Zealand is very expensive.
Thank you.
The cost of living is very expensive. America is much cheaper to live at.
Ah,
Um, Rent is cheaper. Uh,
pay is
cost
better.
Well, when I was there anyway, 8 years ago.
Oh,
Um,
a long
uh,
time.
the pay is about the same. It's about equivalent.
Mm,
But the difference is the cost of living in the US is much lower.
mm. In
Things
China.
are cheaper. Food is a lot cheaper.
Oh,
Rent is
okay.
a lot cheaper. Cars are cheaper. Petrol is cheaper. It's those kinds of things. So it's cheaper, but it's not a better kind of life. I like my life here.
Oh, okay.
It's safe, it's clean, it's
Is there
lots of
work-life
open
balance?
spaces. I'm a very outdoorsy kind of person, so that
Yeah.
works for me, close to the beaches, and everything is kind of compact in terms of that. So I like that part of it. China was super cheap. I
Oh,
I don't think I've saved as a teacher as much as I did when I was in China.
oh, that's
Uh,
good to hear.
so yeah, and I believe Australia, from our friend Monica,
Yeah,
um, she said
I'm gonna
the
invite her
cost
next
of
time.
living in Australia is better than in New Zealand. Their rent is cheaper. She earns more money there. Uh,
How much did
yeah,
she mention?
seems to like it better in many respects.
Are you
So
planning to go to
no,
Australia?
no. I mean, my family is here. That was the main reason I
Okay.
moved there. So, and I like my life in New Zealand despite the costs and everything else. And
I
the
know you don't want to meet snakes along the way when you're doing hiking.
yeah, the stressful teaching. It's very stressful in New Zealand. I don't think I've been as stressed. teaching
This
with the teaching. Yeah, it's
a
just like
different type of stress because I know you were stressed in your previous, but this time
yeah, yeah. It's
well,
very very demanding.
it's a different kind of stress, but you can manage it. You've been through, and I can't believe it. You've
Yeah,
taught different
I
countries. So yeah. Oh, well done. Nice. Thank you
right.
so
Yeah,
much. That's very
yeah.
enlightening.
Sorry, I can't stay longer. I just have to get back to
Yeah,
school.
I know, and I greatly appreciate it. So yeah, thank you so much, and I hope to catch up with you during the holiday.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay. Let's do that. All right. Bye.
Bye. All right. There you go. Okay, because it's not easy to invite just anyone here, especially at this time of the year. Because also even feeling a bit overwhelmed in my new school. I've been teaching in my previous one for 6 years. I had previous experiences in other schools, but then, like what Selena has shared with us, it's completely new. Each school here is different. We may follow the New Zealand curriculum, but we have local curriculum as well, and we do have different approaches. We use different technologies, and that is something that we need to get our head around of. Although I am familiar with the previous technologies that we're using in my old school, this time it's new, so I was like, oh dear, what is this? I'm starting all over again. But now, little by little, I'm catching up with the technologies that we're using in my new school, and also the approaches that we're using, because we're doing structured literacy. And what else? It's just so many things. So, just to give you a heads up that if you move schools, it's completely different. And we've got a lot of questions here. Let's try answering them. Good evening. There, Mom Jub, another fun field. Yeah, yeah, I've already mentioned this. I forgot. And hello also to Ning Kajin, Kalia, carry on. Thank you for watching. Hi, ma'am. May I ask if you're in Auckland? Yes, I am in South Auckland in Manurewa. Do you know Kelston Boys High School? I've heard of it, but I'm not sure about that is actually. I'm in Manurewa, so baka sa Papa Kura yan. I'm not sure. I have no idea what that school is about. So if it's a boys' school, then I assume the students are all boys. From Mahmoud. Thank you very much for the nice interview. I'm really enjoying it from Canada. All right, somebody from Canada would probably try their teaching journey here in New Zealand. Looking forward to meet you here. Good afternoon from oh, man, I thought I'm teaching reading, but I'm struggling to read this one. Could you please explain to me how to get certificate in New Zealand? I'm certified from Canada. When you're coming from Canada, I'm not 100% sure because what I've studied is just Filipino teachers coming to New Zealand. You might have a different pathway because Canada and New Zealand and Australia are under the Commonwealth, the same Commonwealth, and but check out the Teaching Council. If you can type down Teaching Council of New Zealand, how to register as a New Zealand teacher coming from Canada. Otherwise, if it doesn't show specifically, you can email them to ask how it is done. But as far as I know, I forgot to ask Selena whether I'm pretty sure she has done her registration as a teacher as well, coming from South Africa, because there's like statement or an instruction there if you're coming from South Africa. But that was years ago, so I forgot. I don't know what's the updated policy now. I'm a PE career life, and business teacher in Canada. Okay, cool. Last time I've seen a vacancy at James Cook High School where my kids go to. They are looking for a PE teacher, and last few weeks ago, science teacher. They most of the time look for teachers, and coming from Canada shouldn't be as tricky as coming from Philippines. Hello, good evening, Melissa. Are you the one who texted me last time for the opportunity that I've posted? Yep, I've mentioned it already to my. Oh, if that was you. Anyway, okay. Two teachers of 50 students. Yes, because if you're just one teacher, like in my case, I'm I'm in a single cell, but somehow in an open learning environment because we have a big opening between the two classes. So I can hear what the other class is doing. And of course, they can hear me, whatever I'm doing, even if it's just uh, a soft greeting to your students. We can hear each other. And last time I posted, I yelled at my student because I really had enough when he made the other student cry. She was able to hear me. Anyway, I have 24 students at the moment. If the others didn't move to school, to other school, then I would probably have 26 for one teacher. And if you are two teachers in one classroom, that means to say you've got 25 for each, then 50. Yeah. And Selena mentioned that for four teachers, that was 100 students. And it's quite hard to establish rapport with the students when you have that much. You will just say hi, hello, and that's it. You can't really have time to talk with each other because I assume she was just focusing, say, for example, in one subject only, and she'll be teaching all those 100 students. So she will just have certain time with a group of students. Ah, yeah. So it was you, Melissa. I've mentioned it to my teacher aide already, and but I've heard that there were also many parents from our school as well who've applied for the position last year, and they didn't get a chance. So I'm not sure if they will be called up, but I'm not sure if there's even a Filipino. I recommended this teacher aide who's also a parent in that school, and that's why they didn't need to ask me as to her personality or whatever because they know her already. So yeah, hopefully you'll be able to get a chance to be interviewed. Okay, guys, thank you so much. And I hope that quick chat with Miss Selena Bikram, is a good thing for you, giving you an insight whether it's good to go to America, China. Because I know somebody was asking me which one would be the best thing for them. I can't tell because I don't know your specific case and your specific interest. It's up to you. Maybe if you're like Selena, who likes to have an adventure in her life, she's an adventurist, I would say. She loves traveling. She's even had been to Philippines a couple of times, I think, and that brought her to different countries. And for me, I find it now very exciting to explore different teaching journey, explore teaching careers in different countries. I get mixed up with my language now, with my grammar. For 4 years with 100 students, that is from year one up to what year? Oh, I think they were having five, six students for one modern learning environment, MLE, a big space where all 100 students can fit in. And then there will be four teachers that will be moving around to teach. And it's up to them how they're going to teach it. That's as far as I know. So they do collaborative learning, whether they will assign you to do maths and somebody will do English reading, somebody will do writing, somebody will do the inquiry. And the collaboration is very important. It's a big thing here in New Zealand. In my case, because I'm a teacher in a single cell, I do my planning most of the time. Yeah, pretty much by myself. But we do have a lot of training, especially with the structured literacy that they follow and that I am new to. So, kind of it's done already, but I just need to have consistent training and somebody to monitor my work whether I'm doing it right properly. So even if I'm an experienced teacher, when I move to a new school, when they're doing a different approach, I will have to learn it. So that's a continuous learning for teachers. So yeah, that's the life of a teacher here in New Zealand, and hopefully I'm gonna see you again next week. Pahuway ko na. I'm gonna have another rest. I'm not gonna overwhelm myself because I'm into something again. And of course, in my new school, we're doing a lot of tests too. I'm surprised in the beginning of the year, testing so much, taking my time, taking my teaching time. But yeah, I'm getting there. Thank you, everyone, and I hope to see you again. So just keep an eye on my posts because it can just happen anytime. Have a good night, everybody. Bye. Thank you so much from Lani. Yeah. Oh, good. See ya.